Hey guys, JamesMCD's Reviews here, and welcome to another episode of the Cinematic Bucket List series. And today I'm going to be talking about Man of Steel, directed by Zack Snyder, produced by Christopher Nolan, and released in 2013. In preparation for the Snyder Cut releasing next week, everyone's super excited to see it. Some of us may have seen it a few days earlier than intended, but whatever. I figured it'd be a good idea to go back through Zack's DCEU to get some context and to show all the events that would have led up to this very moment. I'm also going to be taking a look at the 2017 Joss Whedon version of Justice League, just so we can get a comparison and find out once and for all which version is better. Sorry, I just can't say that with a straight face. I am not, however, going to be looking over Suicide Squad because there's only so much a human body can take. So with all that out of the way, let's get started with Man of Steel. Now, when I watched this when I was younger, I remember really hating it. I thought it was boring, uninteresting. I distinctly remember falling asleep twice while trying to watch this all the way through. So I was really nervous when I turned it on to rewatch it for this video. The good news is, though, it wasn't as bad as I remember it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can't call it a good movie, and there are definitely major flaws with it, but at the very least, it wasn't actively putting me to sleep, so I'll give the movie that. Basically, if you've seen the movie, you know this is the origin story for this version of Superman, played by Henry Cavill. We see him born on Krypton, the first natural birth in over a century. We see him blasted off to Earth just as the planet is about to be destroyed. We get various out-of-order flashback sequences detailing his childhood and him struggling to keep his powers a secret. And it all ends with a big battle sequence between General Zod and his armada and Superman for the salvation of the planet, basically. Like I said, the movie isn't as bad as I remember it, but there are still a shit ton of problems with it. For one, the story is all over the place in every sense of the phrase. Like, the out-of-order storytelling, I got what they were trying to do. They were trying to, like, get straight into the action, and, you know, they felt like if they told, like, in detail and in chronological order the story of him as a child adjusting to his powers and everything like that, that it would take too long and everything like that. I get it, but still, it's just really distracting jumping back and forth between, oh, he's an adult, oh, he's a kid, oh, he's a teenager, oh, he's an adult again, oh, he's a kid, and blah, 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 blah. And plus, like, I don't think that them putting it in order or out of order would have made a difference, because the movie is still pretty long, and that's another thing, is that scenes just kind of tend to drag on. Like, that intro on Krypton went on for like about 20 minutes, and it could have easily been cut down to about like 10 or so minutes. The final fight sequence is ridiculously long. It's practically the second half of the movie is just action, like that whole action sequence. And it does something that I really hate in especially long movies, whenever it has like a big action scene and then it starts to die down and it makes you think that things are wrapping up. And then another big action scene will start, and then that'll go on for a few minutes and then start to die down, and then another big action scene will start. I really fucking hate that in movies. Talking on the action, some of the visual effects were not as polished as they probably should have been. Like, most of them are all right, but a lot of them they're like Spider-Man 3 bad. Like, they especially when they're flying around in that like final fight scene of Superman versus Zod. The people look really plasticky, and it's just a lot of like CGI shit like all over the screen, and it's really distracting. There are also a lot of things about the movie that don't really make that much sense, like the whole like argument between like Clark and his dad of like, oh, you should have let the kids on the bus die, or oh, go stay behind while I go get the dog, person with superpowers who is indestructible. Like, shit like that, I still, to this day, do not understand what the whole thing behind that was. But the things the movie does right, the movie really does right. I think the characters are compelling enough to where you give a shit. They're likable, even though they're, you know, a lot like more bleak than, you know, some of the classic Superman movies. You know, they still have some bit of like hopeful optimism in them to where you care about them and you want to see them, you know, get out of this alive. I thought the acting across the board was really good. I thought Henry Cavill was really good as Superman. Amy Adams was kind of like decent as Lois Lane. Like, she had the potential of being obnoxious, and there were some scenes where like she like walked that line a little bit, but she was fine for the most part. I thought Kevin Costner as the dad was really good. I thought Lawrence Fishburne was really good. All the actors had something about them that made them stand out, except, and we're going back to the bad here for just a quick second, Michael Shannon. I'm sorry, but this guy, like, this guy, I've seen him act in other movies that he did a really good job in, but for whatever reason, he bounces back and forth in this movie between super over the top, screaming, shouting, practically spitting all of his lines, to like just seeming really bored and uninterested with everything that he's saying. Plus, the entire time that he's talking, he sounds like he's got like something stuck in his throat or something, to where he's talking like this the whole time and shit like that. So he was pretty jarring. I thought the action, for as overblown and ridiculous as it was still pretty awesome. Like, yeah, it is a bunch of, you know, just CGI shit being destroyed, and it is just a lot of carnage for the sake of carnage, and, you know, a lot of people probably died. It is still cool to see for maybe like the first like 15 or so minutes, and then it keeps going, and then you're like, okay, we get it. Can you stop now? Like I said, I was really impressed with Man of Steel this time around. Like I said, I can't call it good, but I can't call it bad either. It was plenty enjoyable. I'm glad that I watched it for this bucket list episode, and I don't really feel like I need to watch it again. I think as a start to a potential cinematic universe, it was pretty decent. And, you know, had they done the rest of the movies correctly, then it probably would have made for a good, you know, counter franchise to the Avengers with just as good characters and things like that. But unfortunately, the next movie coming up is Batman vs. Superman, so I don't really have that high hopes. But yeah, Man of Steel, better than I remember it, still not good. If I had to rate it, I'd probably give it like a 3 out of 5. But anyway, that does it for this video. Tune in next time when I'll be taking a look at Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. Pray for me. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of Man of Steel. What did you like about it? What did you hate about it? All that stuff. And out of all the DC movies, which one's your favorite? Let me know that down in the comments. Apart from that, be sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you can stay up to date on what I'm posting. Follow me on all my social media, subscribe to my main channel. Everything you need to know will be in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later.